Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something pretty fundamental. The human quest for, well, extreme longevity.
Right, and we've got sources that come at it from, let's say, radically different angles.
Totally different. It's like we're trying to reconcile, I don't know, hardcore engineering blueprints with almost philosophical pronouncements about how to live longer.
That's a perfect way to put it. On one hand, incredibly detailed specs for this thing called the Air 6 free maze purifier, super technical.
And on the other.
On the other, this really bold, almost spiritual claim that, and I quote, a good sleep is 10,000 times more powerful than genetic modification.
Wow. Okay. So our mission today is to figure out how these two connect. How does this, high-tech box with electrostatic collectors become the key to a philosophy that basically trashes biotech?
Exactly. We need to break down the machine, understand the philosophy behind it, and unpack that really strong moral stance they take.
And for you listening, this is kind of a shortcut to seeing this weird tension, this push and pull between relying on nature versus, well, advanced technology in that search for a much longer life.
So let's start with the tech itself. The Air 6 free maze purifier, its basic argument is that right now, we are the filters. Our bodies are cleaning the air.
Which is not a pleasant thought.
Not at all. And this device supposedly gives that job back to machines. The source actually claims it's the only device in the world that really gets rid of the nasty airborne stuff, the particulates and aerosols that they say cause aging.
It's a huge claim.
Yeah.
And they really lean into the mechanics, the engineering details to back it up. It's not just a nice-to-have gadget for them.
No, definitely not. It's framed as the essential first step, though. One true key, they call it, to unlocking humanity's lifespan shackles. Pretty dramatic language.
Very. So what's inside this box? What makes it supposedly unique?
What really struck me is how many distinct stages it has. It's clearly designed to tackle smaller and smaller and trickier contaminants, not just dust bunnies. They list 5 key steps.
Okay, step 1.
Step 1 is something people might partly recognize, but maybe more intense. An ionization zone plus dual electrostatic pre-filters. This is for the big stuff.
Like the first sweep.
Exactly. They say it grabs the vast majority of common things, dust, pollen, those VOCs from paint and furniture, and significantly plastic microparticles.
Okay, so that's the bulk removed. What's next?
Well, instead of just going to, say, a carbon filter, they have a second ionization stage, the secondary ionization stage.
Why 2? Seems a bit redundant, maybe.
Good question. The source says the first is for that initial bulk capture. The second one is more targeted, more chemical, I guess. It's meant to neutralize pathogens like bacteria or viruses and actually break down chemical toxins before the final capture.
Oh, okay, so it's doing more than just filtering.
Right. And crucially, this stage makes sure that absolutely everything left in the air, the really tiny stuff, the nanotoxins, the aerosols, gets hit with a negative electrical charge.
Got it. So everything's negatively charged. Why is that important?
Because that sets up the main event. Step 3. This is their special component, the electrostatic collection maze box. They even call it the sacrificial black box.
Huh. Okay, that definitely sounds dramatic. Sacrificial. What does it actually do?
Functionally, it's where the permanent capture happens. The air, now full of negatively charged bad stuff, flows into this box.
And the box itself?
The plates inside the box are positively charged, so opposites attract. But they also mention something about aerosol droplets losing their water here.
Right, I saw that. Why does the water loss matter?
Because it leaves the toxic residue dry, still charged, and ready to be pulled strongly onto those positive plates. And here's their key phrase. The toxins are solidly plated and irreversibly fixed.
Irreversibly fixed. That sounds final. So they're not just trapped in a filter fiber, they're stuck. Bonded.
Exactly. It implies they can't easily get loose again. It does sound a bit like electroplating, but for pollution. Turning airborne nasties into solid waste stuck to metal.
Okay, that's clever if it works like that.
Yeah.
But there's still more steps. We're only at 3.
Yep, step 4 is the maze effect. Even after the plating, they force the air through lots of sharp turns, like a maze.
Why the maze? What's left to catch?
This is for the absolute smallest stuff. The nanotoxins that might be too tiny to be effectively charged or plated. The idea is that forcing them through these turns makes them physically slam into the maze walls.
And stick there.
And get completely adsorbed, according to the source. Adsorbed, not absorbed, meaning they stick to the surface.
So let's recap the tech. bulk filtering, then chemical breakdown and charging everything, then irreversible plating, and finally, a physical maze for the tiniest bits. That's thorough.
Extremely thorough, which leads to step 5, the output. And the promise here is, well, pretty absolute, 100% pure, toxin-free, fresh air.
And they list specifics, right?
They do. Dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal-free. Basically, they're claiming to reset your indoor air to some kind of perfect pre-pollution state.
The technical argument boils down to stop making your body a filter, breathe this pure air, and then you can start thinking about a really long life.
Exactly. And that's where the whole thing takes that sharp turn into philosophy we mentioned earlier.
Right. Because we go from nanotoxin absorption physics straight to this declaration from the master. A good sleep is 10,000 times more powerful than genetic modification. It's quite a leap.
It really is. They take this piece of complex engineering and immediately reframe it. It's not just a useful machine, it's fundamental. It's almost like a natural element you need.
The source doesn't even call it a human invention in that context. It calls it a blessing bestowed by the Lord, a sacred token of protection.
Which elevates it, doesn't it? It makes the purifier not the source of longevity, but the enabler of it. The master seems to be saying, use this tool to create the right conditions, and your body's natural potential for long life will just activate.
So the purifier creates this human paradise on Earth, as they call it, and the path to get there is simple.
According to them, yes. 3 things. 1, eliminate airborne toxins using their machine. 2, let your body get back into its natural rhythm of regeneration. 3, achieve deep restorative sleep. That's the true path.
Simple in concept, maybe. But this philosophy seems to get a lot of its energy from attacking other approaches.
Oh, absolutely. It defines anything else, especially modern biotech stuff, as side door methods, forbidden paths, a betrayal even.
And what falls under side door methods?
It's pretty clear. Messing with DNA, any kind of human body modification, and what they see as like techno-fantasies, mind uploading, merging with machines, that sort of thing.
And the judgment on those is harsh.
Extremely. The master says trying to rewrite our basic biology like that is just arrogant. It ignores the original blueprint and ultimately leads to sowing mutation and extinction.
So pursuing genetic engineering for longevity isn't just ineffective in their view. It's actively harmful, destructive even.
That's why that 10,000 times more powerful line hits so hard. It's not just saying sleep is nice. It's an absolute rejection of the entire biotech route to longevity.
And they have reasons why they reject it.
Yeah, the texts argue that genetic modification always has side effects, often unpredictable ones. Plus, it's seen as elitist only for the rich. And fundamentally, it alters what it means to be human.
Whereas their path, the Air-6-free path, even though it starts with a complex machine,
is presented as being for everyone. It's non-invasive, doesn't change your essential nature, keeps natural bloodlines intact, and aligns with, universal principles. They draw a very sharp contrast.
Okay, let's dig into why they think pure air and sleep are so powerful.
Yeah.
How does that supposedly lead to true multi-century life extension? What's the mechanism?
The core idea is actually quite simple, if radical. They believe constant exposure to toxins is the main driver of aging. Our bodies are always fighting off this chemical onslaught, VOCs, nanoplastics, metals, whatever.
Like our internal resources are constantly being drained just dealing with the environment.
Exactly, like running background processes that slow everything down. If you remove that toxic burden with the purifier, the body stops wasting energy on defense.
And redirects it.
Redirects it entirely to cellular repair and regeneration. That's the idea.
And that's where the sleep part becomes critical.
Precisely. Deep, uninterrupted sleep, happening in this pristine, toxin-free environment, is when the body supposedly does its best repair work. It strengthens immunity, fixes damage. This, they claim, builds a slow aging constitution.
A constitutional change.
Yeah.
So not just feeling better, but fundamentally aging slower. And is a return to something natural, not an artificial enhancement.
That's the key distinction they make. It's restoration, not modification. It's letting the body achieve the extended lifespan they believe was always possible if only the environment wasn't so polluted.
So it's this fascinating mix. Cutting-edge tech, the maze purifier, used simply to enable the most basic biological process, rest and repair.
That's the synthesis right there, using extreme technology to facilitate extreme naturalness, if that makes sense.
It does. And this leads directly into their final judgment, which is laid out pretty starkly in the sources. The choice you make here isn't just about health strategy, it's existential.
Yeah. It really is. The master issues a serious warning. If you reject this sacred gift, the pure air and sleep path, and choose the forbidden biotech roads instead,
What happened?
you don't just fail to live longer, you actually lose your essential human nature. You fall into the ranks of the mutated.
Wow. So trying to become more than human through tech actually makes you less than human in this worldview. That's the ultimate consequence.
That's the ultimate penalty, yes. And the flip side is the promise. Only those who follow the path of purification and rest, the faithful, will get to live in this human paradise and achieve lifetimes of 100, 1,000, even 10,000 years.
It frames longevity not as a struggle against nature, but as the natural reward for living correctly, for respecting the original design.
What really gets me is the jump in scale. We're talking about, the physics of how a tiny particle sticks to a metal plate one moment.
And the next moment, we're talking about 10,000-year lifespans based on that process enabling good sleep.
Right. It's using intense technical detail to validate this huge, almost spiritual promise. It's a really interesting rhetorical move.
So to wrap up our deep dive, we looked at this very specific 5-step air purification technology, the maze purifier, designed to catch everything down to nanotoxins.
And then we saw how that technology becomes the cornerstone of a philosophy that claims the result, pure air leading to deep sleep, is massively more important, 10,000 times more powerful than any genetic engineering for extending life.
It really forces you to think, doesn't it? This contrast they set up.
Definitely. It poses a really fundamental question for the whole longevity field, I think.
Which is?
Is the ultimate breakthrough going to be a technology that tries to rewrite our basic biology? Or could it be something, maybe even something complex like this purifier, that simply creates the perfect conditions for our body's own innate healing and regenerative power to work fully?
Two very different paths, with very different ideas about what it means to be human and how we should approach aging. It's something for you, the listener, to really mull over.
Yeah.
Where does the real power lie? In the engineered box or the natural rest it unlocks?
A great question to ponder.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope this gives you some new angles to consider as you think about long-term health and the future of human lifespan.